So the US elections are over and that orange menace is now out of office. Kind of, eventually, will be. Or hopefully it will be. I mean, these are recorded fairly well in advance, so the bastard could have started World War III by the time this actually comes out, in which case you've probably got bigger things to worry about. But for now, I feel like celebrating. How do you celebrate normally? Well, you crack open something sparkling, and that's what we've got today. But instead of a sparkling wine, we've got a sparkling mead. I know, right? That's not something we do every day. I might call this Need for Mead, because puns are great. Yeah, this is a mead. It's made from Manuka honey and some other bits and pieces, and it's got this really floaty, weird, winding label, which is pretty cool. I might do some close-up shots. I might not. It depends how fucked I can be to edit this. As my patrons are due to find out, I've given myself a lot of work for December, and you'll all see what I mean fairly soon. But if you want to find out in advance, then there'll be links down to my Patreon down below. The £5 tier is where you get all the skinny up early, so that'll be fun. And the £5 patrons are probably like, oh god, what's he doing now? And the answer is too much. Too much. But anyway, this is mead. The fuck is a mead? Basically, it's a fermented beverage made with honey. There's loads of fakes and faux ones made with like sugar syrups, and they've got honey added in afterwards that aren't true meads. A true mead, the honey has to be sort of in there from the start and then part of the brewing process. So I'm going to read the label now. It says, Lone Bee Sparkling Mead created in New Zealand from clover and Manuka honey. That was an adventure, doing all that. That was fun. It's 5.3% alcohol by volume, and it's 330 ml. Quite a small bottle. And I remember this was about £2-3, something like that. Gluten-free, served chilled. Safest not to drink while pregnant. Doesn't necessarily say don't, which is what most booze developers do. They just go, just don't do it, it's a dumb idea. I mean, my mum drank when she was pregnant with me and I turned out fine. Lone Bee is on a mission, venturing far and wide to find the very best nectar with which to make the very best honey. We have been on our own mission, it's doing this floating thing again, to find and create the very best sparkling mead using only the very best honey with no added flavouring. There's a severed hand on the label, and I don't know why. That's strange. Mead made from clover and Manuka honey, produced by the wide open spaces of New Zealand. We hope you enjoy. Proudly, independently created in New Zealand. And there's like a bear that looks like he's getting ready to box with some wasps. It's a very strange label. It's very out there. There's also like a dead goose on here. What is going on this label? It's absolutely fascinating. There's a ghost. What? Somebody was on drugs when they fucking... Right, well, I've never done a mead on this channel before. I've done a couple of ciders, I've done a fair few beers. And this is sort of the time of the year where I'm getting more towards sort of my hipstery weird stuff. Man, there's a lot of bubbles in there. Probably doesn't help that I was shaking it all over the place. But let's get this poured into a glass and find what we got. It's ever so slightly cloudy, straw gold coloured. No head, very fizzy. What does it smell like? It doesn't smell especially sweet, a little bit sort of hay-like, a little grassy. Yeah, there's like a faint hint of honey, sort of like if somebody was eating Honey Nut Cheerios or something in the next room, and you're like, what's that sweet smell? So that kind of a smell. Yeah, not much going on the nose, if I'm being completely honest. So let's just try it. Why not? It's very dry, very dry. The honey does come through, but it's not even sweet. There's like the flavour of the honey without any kind of... Well, I'm struggling to process this a little bit because I'm trying to like reboot and try and tell you about it. Okay, I've got it. There's a graininess to it. There's like a sweet grain element to it. It's quite floral. the honey kind of comes through on sort of the finish more than anything else, and it's the flavour of the honey as opposed to any kind of like overwhelming sweetness. And it does just stick around. It's very bright. It's a little bit sour. But there is like a lovely richness, but it's all kind of happening on sort of towards the finish, towards the end of when you've drank it. So when you first drink it, you're just kind of like, what am I getting? It's almost like it overwhelms you a little bit. It's very different. It's good though. It is good. I don't have an issue with like dry alcoholic drinks because I got a bit of stick from the whole hard seltzer thing I did a few weeks ago, where you're just like, oh, it's because it's dry that you don't like it. It's not that. It's the fact that that was just bullshit is what I didn't like about it. This is good. This is a dry alcoholic beverage that I can get behind because it's not just bollocks. You can tell that somebody wanted to make this rather than wanted to make money and by consequence had to make something in order to make that money. There is a difference. And you can tell that half a fuck went into this. I think you can tell that a full fuck went into this actually. The more I'm drinking this now, more of the aromas and the flavour compounds are coming through. I think it's because my palate at first was kind of like processing. Not quite sure what to make of this, but now that I'm getting used to it, think of any honey flavoured breakfast cereal you can and then dial the sweetness down. Then add like a sip of apple juice in there and just loads of molten grain. That's what I'm getting from it. It got this wonderful richness at the back as well, which I'm really digging. Normally I make like stupid jokes throughout the majority of these videos, don't I? And this time I'm just kind of like, yeah, mead, let's do mead. Let's mead it up. Mead, yeah. I just kind of wanted to celebrate with something sparkly, and I thought this would be something a little bit different. I considered a champagne, or like a sparkling wine, or divvy up with Baby Sham again, because that people watch that video a lot. That's the weirdest thing to me. I was just like, yeah, it's a Thursday, let's just piss about with some vintage shit, and people watch that video all the time. It's quite funny. I don't understand how the world works at all. I don't know what people want. Tell you what people didn't want, Donald Trump again. That was closer than it should have been, really, given how bizarre he is. I mean, to be fair, one of his doctors did fairly say, actually, I was checking on Google recently, that he has the mental capacity of someone who's 111 years old, which, I'll see if I can get the quote, actually. Oh no, sorry, he said he was mentally ill. Sorry, my mistake, misread that. Bees make this. Bees are great. Bees, we need bees. So we don't need Donald Trump. No, as you can probably tell, I don't like him because he's a racist, homophobic, fucking, probably a kiddie fiddler as well. And also, you can't say anything against me. It's like, well, that's just a blatant lie. And it's like, well, pot kettle, come on. I'm going to have a fair bit more of this, actually. I do have another mead on the shelf. If I had thought this out properly, I should probably have done like a side-by-side comparison. That would have been fun. How many B's out of 5 would I give this? It's a solid 4. Because it's not over the top. There is like an element of sweet. It tastes golden. I don't know how else to describe it. There's a wonderful crispness to it. And you know what? If I ever get married, I might serve this instead of champagne, because I mean, save a fortune if nothing else. This wasn't very much, I seem to remember, for the bottle. It was 2-3 quid, something like that. So it's not the cheapest thing in the world, but also, you know, not the kind of markup you get from champagne. I'm enjoying it more. It's not as like sourdoughy or bready or yeasty, but what you do get is more kind of like cereal grain notes, a little bit like a zesty lemon kind of a thing, and just glorious golden honey. And it's good, it's nice, and I dig it. So it's 4 B's out of 5. Let me know down below, do you like mead? Do you drink mead? Mead? You look forward to the future of politics in America? I mean, I don't live in America, I've never even visited America. I wanted to visit America when it was under Obama, because there were some interesting times. Yeah, not now interesting times, you know, sort of like interesting times where you kind of like, oh, these are interesting times, not, well, these are interesting times. You know, there's a difference. I should probably stop talking about politics. They're very dividing, aren't they? Donald Trump is a cunt, though, so, you know, I feel beside myself in saying that. Yeah, I'm into this. You should totally buy some. I don't imagine this is very readily available. Lone Bee Sparkling Mead. But if you see any about, drink it. It's nice. It's something different. If you're into your ciders and you're starting to get to that stage where you're like, my pancreas hurts, this is actually good. You wouldn't think it, because you're like, it's made of honey. It's made of honey. But it certainly doesn't taste sweet. Is it loaded with sugar? There's no real nutritional information. You don't have to put much info on alcoholic beverages other than the ABV and don't drink and drive. Nutritional wise, could be anything in this, which is not necessarily good, but hey. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Let me know down below, what do you think of mead? Have you ever tried mead? Do you like honey? Thumb the video, and if you feel like contributing to the channel financially, there'll be links down to the Patreon as well. Thank you very much for watching, and do join me next time, or I'll be drinking something else.